I'm sitting here in the boring room. It's just another rainy Sunday afternoon. I'm wasting my time, I got nothing to do. I'm hanging around, I'm waiting for you, but nothing ever happens. And I wonder, I'm driving around in my car. I'm driving too fast, I'm driving too far. I'd like to change my point of view. I feel so lonely, I'm waiting for you, but nothing ever happens. And I wonder how, I wonder why. Yesterday you told me about the blue, blue sky, and all that I can see is just a yellow lemon tree. I'm turning my head up and down. I'm turning, 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 turning around, and all that I can see is just another lemon tree. Sing da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee dee da. I'm sitting here, I miss the power. I'd like to go out, taking a shower, but there's a heavy cloud inside my head. I feel so tired, put myself into bed. Well, nothing ever happens, and I wonder. Isolation is not good for me. Isolation, I don't want to sit on a lemon tree. I'm stepping around in the desert of joy. Maybe anyhow I'll get another toy, and everything will happen. And you wonder, I wonder how, I wonder why. Yesterday you told me about the blue, blue sky, and all that I can see is just another lemon tree. I'm turning my head up and down. I'm turning, 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 turning around, and all that I can see is just a yellow lemon tree. And I wonder, wonder, I wonder how, I wonder why. Yesterday you told me about the blue, blue sky, and all that I can see, and all that I can see, and all that I can see is just a yellow lemon tree.
Hi guys, I believe that you're all very familiar with the song just now, which is Lemon Tree. It is a viral song among the 90s. So I've been figuring out how to make this song even more interesting among the readers and the listeners. And after all, I decided to make it into a short story. And this short story is going to be narrated by me, Gery Wong from PPIs and P TESO HJKC 2022. And with some attractive features in it. So without further ado, let's get started into this short story. So this is basically a love story among the teenagers, and one named Jack and another one named Jan. So let's get started. This Jack, he is an introvert person. He never likes any conversation with the girls, even his neighbors who is living in his neighborhood. Yeah. So, despite being an introvert and reluctant to talk with any girls there's in his life, this Jack always wanted a true love. And he has a wrong concept that love will only fall from sky if he's only just waiting in a boring and lonely room. Yeah, and one rainy afternoon, it was raining cats and dogs. The raindrops was tapping on this Jack's room's window screen, making this tick-tock sound, and so do the clock that was hanging on Jack's room's wall, making the tick-tock sounds. That means time goes on and on and on. And Jack, something has happened inside him. He begins figuring Am I doing the right thing? Should I be still waiting in this small, boring, and lonely room, just waiting for my true love to like show up in front of me without taking any actions towards it? Am I doing the right thing? Is I am I no, am I wasting my time just by sitting here and doing nothing? Should I make a change? Then Jack decided to take a brief walk. He put on his sweater and long trousers. He was walking on the track on the treadmill in his neighborhood. This Jack, he was walking until he met a girl. This girl was meant the girl. No, by the first sight, Jack seeing this girl, he knew that this is the right girl for my life. And this Jack managed to get the girl's phone number and her living address, and he has decided to take this girl out for a walk. They had a great conversation that day. Despite being an introvert, Jack was brave enough to pick up his courage to talk with this so-called perfect girl in his life. And that night, while Jack was back into his room, after he has taken a shower and decided he hit the sack, he was lying in his bed and he begins to wonder. That girl named Jane was too perfect for my life. What type of girl is she? Is she a materialistic person? Will she be liking my house? Or how many babies should we have after we get married? All sorts of questions, all types of questions begin lurking in Jack's mind. But Jack couldn't give any answer for those questions because sometimes men get lost when they're in love. Yeah. So the next day, this Jack put on his best suit, best clothing, and he decided to took a ride and take this Jane out for a date. They have made an agreement that they will go out for a date the next days. So that's why Jack is driving right now. So he was driving too happily. Even the air that surrounds him tastes sweet. The music, everything was perfect. The scenery along the drive. Yep. And the cars that seemed so polite to Jack. Everything was so wonderful when you're in love. So, yep, it is too magical that Jack didn't even realize that he is speeding and he is driving too fast and too far. Because Jack, his point of view for his life had changed. He decided to no longer stare in his boring room after meeting this magical girl in his life. And this girl actually changed the way he treats his life. He wanted to go out and he not being trapped in a small room just like before. He no longer feel comfortable by just staying in his small house and waiting for his true love to fall. But in another way, no. But in how do we say that? But in reversal, this Jack decided to grab the opportunity by himself. He was there enough to ask this girl named Jane out for a date, and we could see mystery change. We could see a mystery change among Jack and the way he treats his life, the way he treats others. He begins to become an outspoken person who is willing enough to have conversations with just random guys, for example, his neighbors. So Jack was there. He was at the girl's house even 15 minutes before the time that they set for the date. And he started to wait for the girl. And once again, the time goes on and on and on and on. And the clock in the girl's house is like tick tock, tick tock. And time goes by. It was already 6:30 and the girl is not showing up. But Jack, he has enough patience. He know that all girls have to put on their cosmetic makeups, and she must be dressing completely fine just to date with me. Because I have a strong confidence that this girl is so into me. She definitely likes me a lot. By the first day we had conversation with each other. So this Jack, he was waiting. He was waiting, only waiting, leaning against a tree, but not knowing what tree it was. So soon the time goes into 7 p.m. And this Jack, he begins to wonder, will the girls really take that long time for their cosmetic wear-ups, makeups, and their outfits? What if she has break our promise? What if she is not willing out for a date? And then Jack begins to get disappointed. His eagerness for the date was vanished. And then, after waiting for 3 hours, this Jack decided to take a ride back to his house. And that night, Jack was bursting into tears. He was so sad that the only girl that he's willing to approach and even have had a conversation with him has abandoned him. He was so sad that he was beginning to wondering again. What have I done wrong? How should I get a girl like Jane in the future? And why do I get abandoned? The complete girl, have told me about the blue sky, the scenery that we could have when we were dating the day before, the day we first met. This girl has shared with me a lot of meaningful and wonderful things, the sceneries. She even talked about the future. She was a so determined female that I wanted to take her out with me. But guess what? The only thing that I saw in front of her house is only a yellow lemon tree that I was leaning onto. And this Jack, he couldn't fall into sleep. He was turning up and down. He was turning all around. And the only thing that lures out and the only thing that shows out in his mind is only the yellow lemon tree that he's leaning onto. And that's the time that he only knew that the tree that he was leaning onto was a lemon tree in front of Jane's house. So this Jack he was considering about whether I have to stay to my former lifestyle or should I move on in my life. Then this Jack began to flashback. I was that confident and I have the power before I get abandoned by the girl named Jane. I was there enough to talk with my neighbors. I was daring enough to start up conversations with others. So this Jack, he took a long shower and he had a cloud in his head and thinking about whether should I vanish all these principles that I have just gotten, that I should talk more with other people, or should I be back to that lonely small room? So after a long struggle among himself, this Jack was really tired. He get into bed to get enough rest and energize himself to face his new days. And then the next day, this Jack woke up in wonders. He was wondering about, should I go on a new relationship? Because he begins to think that isolation is not really suitable for him. He has just begins to start his life of conversation with others. should him just stop it by getting no just because of a failure of getting a date with a girl, or should he be just keep on flashing back on the lemon tree that he was leaning onto that day, or should him be stepping in a desert of joy to start up new conversations with people, to meet up new friends, to get into groups of people that could bring him really joy. So this Jack have decided to start out a new life, a life which is full with conversations with other people, a life full with communities with different people from all walks of life, from all races, from all language backgrounds, or from all society backgrounds. This Jack has finally figured out the way that he should lead as an ex-introvert. And he decided to leave the girl named Jane, wondering about, regretting about, why didn't I go out with this perfect man named Jack? And this is the end of the story. I hope that it is interesting to you. Thank you.
Alright guys, now I'm going to talk about what have I learned about these 4 skills, which is listening, writing, speaking, and reading throughout this assignment. And these are all based on the form of arts contained in the video lemon tree just now. Okay, so basically the skills work in pairs. So when you're reading or listening, you're actually consuming a language, which means you receive something. However, when you're writing or you're speaking, you're actually producing a language. So once you have mastered all these skills, you can safely say that you're fluent in that certain language. With that in mind, another thing that I have learned is on how we can strengthen each individual skills of this, and to ensure that you're making the most out of your language practice. So without further ado, let us see on how we can strengthen on those skills. First of all, how to improve your reading skills. Getting the inspiration from the video lemon tree, I can conclude that there is a very obvious place to start for those wishing to improve their reading skills, which is reading materials, or in another word, books or any illustrations that can help you to learn. So books not only help you to learn a new language, they are also a way to discover the culture behind the language actually. So now I'm going to share about some ways for you to improve your reading skills. So first of all, picture or comic books. From the inspiration I get from the video, I can make a simple conclusion that picture is always helpful when you're doing your reading. Because, for example, picture books are an excellent resource for beginners. Chances are you use picture books to help you learn to read in your native tongue. So it makes sense that you start here with your target language too. So once you're beyond the absolute beginner stage, then I will start to recommend you some ebooks which is in combo with the audio that can help you learn better. And they are also fun to read, and the pictures will help you to follow the story of the storyline of a story or what. And even though if you don't, and even if you don't know the vocabulary. And second thing is, you can always prepare a good dictionary and a packet notebook with you. So a dictionary is a language learner's best friend. Because if you're met with some vocabularies when you're doing your reading, for example, you get into a new vocab when you're reading an ebook, you will frequently come across flipping the dictionary, and find out what those words mean right away. And you can always jot them down in a notebook with you that can help you make references in the future. Yes. And the third thing you can do is start on dual language reading materials. Because if you're reading one book in 2 languages, it is a good way for you to improve your language skills too. And it can give you a big confidence boost as you realize that how much of the language you have already understand. And that helps you in your workforce too, because you're getting to meet a lot of people from all races or from all walks of life, and you gotta know new languages for you to deal with them better and to help you with your promotions in your workforce. And now I'm going to talk about the ways you could improve in your writing skills. All right, actually, reading will help you a lot in your writing, because all these readings will give you creative juices flowing. So it can also encourage you to sit down and do a little bit of writing too. Yes, for many language learners, writing is the first they actively try to produce language. So rather than consuming the language, and even though I see speaking as a very important point in English, I still see writing as the most important part, as it gives you a lot of opportunities in your work too if you're writing well. So I always recommend you to prepare a script before you start your conversation, because it can boost your confidence too. So that proves us how writing is important for us. And if we're having some aids such as arts-based reading materials, we can improve our writings well. So there is also a lot of alternative methods for us to practice writing. So the first one is you can always write a letter to your pen pal. After you have watched such videos such as the lemon tree just now, you can always share what you have. You can always share your opinions with your pen pal if you're shy to talk with people that you don't know in real lives. Because nowadays these online platforms is very good for us to start our conversations using writing as our. There is some applications that can keep your identity and keep you anonymous. That's why, and that promotes people to chat online and improve their writing skills too. And second thing is you can always set yourself a daily goal on Duolingo. Just like what I've stated just now, multilingual is very important for us, and art-based activities can always help us to achieve our goals on Duolingo. Duolingo offers plenty of writing exercises at all skill levels, so you can practice writing your target language as much as you want. And the third point is to start a blog in your target language. I have a strong agreement that new beginners of a language should start up a blog writing, as people can feel free to leave down kind comments if you're making some mistakes in your grammatical structures or your vocabs that's being used by you. So starting a blog is very important for us. No, it's very helpful for you to improve your writing skills. And now let's move into the speaking skills. The speaking is a skill of doom. Most language learners find speaking their new language a daunting prospect. And I know that people who's been studying for years sometimes still haven't had a conversation in a target language. They couldn't afford to speak fluently in their target language. And that's what I'm also struggling now. So with the correct pronunciation that we can get from the videos such as the lemon tree just now, speaking skills is very much helped and is very much supported, as you would know how to pronounce the words easily if you're in touch with those songs that could help you. Yes. And there is also some alternative ways where you can improve on your speaking skill. So the first one, I would recommend you to find a conversation partner online. Just like what I've stated just now, it can kill your shyness. It can kill your embarrassment it can kill your embarrassment in conversations with people that you don't know, because the encryption online is helping you to like keep a distance from those who you're talking to. And if you're just looking for someone to have conversation to rather than paid lessons such as oral tuitions or some oral practices, then you should try looking for a partner online, because first of all, it's free, and second, it's easier for you will feel easier if you're talking to your friend rather than talking to your teacher. So your conversation, I suggest that you should have the conversation partner as a native speaker of your target language that you wish to learn, and it should be an advanced learner, or even someone who is very expert in that certain languages. And the second way I would recommend you to improve in your speaking skill is to go to meetups in your area. So, for example, if you have studied some videos such as the video Lemon Tree just now, you can always go to meetups and share with your friends what have you get from the song and how these arts are helping you to learn certain languages. It can always help you as a topic for you to start up conversations with new friends. So I believe that most cities have a community of language learners, and if you're going to meetups, you can find them, you can find who they are, and you can be like connect with them with like-minded language learners. And this is also an excellent way for you to like make new friends, for you to talk a lot. And lastly, how do you improve your listening skills? In order for you to have conversation with someone, the only thing that you need is not only the speaking skills. The listening skills is also very important, as you can interpret the messages you have received from the speakers or from whom you're talking to. So, but listening is a passive way in learning. So it is very important. It is very useful for the auditory learners, as these learners, they are very fast in getting information and knowledge just by listening to someone. So just like the video just now, the musical arts is very helpful for those auditory learners, as they can practice their listening skills by listening to the lyrics, by listening to the melodies, which is very suitable for them. Yes. And there are some ways that you could improve in your listening skills also. The first one is you should give the audio your full attention. I have to admit that if I'm not paying full attention to the video Lemon Tree just now, I could not actually get what the lyrics are. So, for example, you can play foreign music in the background while you're cooking dinner or cleaning the bathroom, and try to figure out what the lyrics are about. And it is much better for you to sit down and give the audio your full attention and treat it just like a study lesson, but be not too tense, as you will get much more out of it. And another point is to like write down the words that you don't recognize. It could be the pronunciation that you have get in your mind, but it may not be the real spellings of the word. So if you're listening to some songs such as Lemon Tree just now, you can write down words that you don't recognize, and after you have done the listening part, you can look those up in the dictionary that I've stated just now, which is very helpful in your writing, and you can add them to your vocab list for further studies. And the third way is to listen to the same audio multiple times. You don't just listen merely about the audio once, but you should be learning it inside out until you can recite the song from back to front. So once you're completely sure that what's being said or taught or sang in the song, you can move on to the next thing, which is to make them in your writings, or to make them into a new product of your language skills. Yes. The form of arts-based learning should be flexible enough to be dealing with different people from different cultures to avoid some unhappy issues from happening. For example, the misunderstanding among the religions or cultures. So we, as the young blood of teachers, should be brave enough to some sort of break the comfort zone and introduce some new forms of art-based teaching and learning programs that is suitable enough for the new generations from all the cultures. And not only that, I'm now going to tell you some problems and glitches I have faced while I was producing my project of presentation using digital media. So yeah, there is a number of problems, glitches while I produced this product. So first of all, I could not find a suitable place to record my presentation. So yeah, I decided to get the recording done at my home after trying few times in my dorm and end up failing. And apart from that, I couldn't just record using my laptop because just like all my course-mates, because my laptop doesn't has a camera on it. So therefore I have to record it using my phone hanging on the screen of my laptop, and transfer the videos from my phone to my laptop again for editing. And after the editing is done, I have to transfer the whole thing into my phone again for the finalization. So the whole process is some sort of complex and troublesome, yeah. And I guess that's all from me. Bye bye.